Hello everyone. Today I want to chat with you about meditation retreats because many people have asked me about it, and it's just easier to make a video to talk about it because there's so much I can talk about. If you haven't done one, the TLDR version is just do it. Because like anything, the best way to know is to experience it. By direct experience, you will know it for yourself, and don't take my words for it because everybody's experience can be different. If you don't know what a meditation retreat is, typically it's a 10-day silent meditation retreat. Silent means you cannot talk. Of course, if something happens, you can communicate only when it's necessary. And most of the time, you spend your time on meditation. You rotate between sitting meditation and walking meditation. And they serve you the food, so you don't need to be concerned with anything because you're totally taken care of. It's really the perfect condition for you to work on yourself and train your mind because they take care of everything around you to make it as easy as possible for you to go deeper. And then the structure is you usually wake up in the morning, do a morning meditation, and there's food, and you do some, they call it yogi job, which is you just help with some small chores so that it really is a way to experience the joy of generosity, and you are giving away something as well while keeping it loving and kind, doing the chores, which is gonna give you a very good baseline. For example, if your job is to do dishes, now you know how happy you can be when washing dishes. So when you're home, you can always think back to think that as a baseline, like, yeah, right, why do I not like washing dishes, right? There were totally times I truly enjoy washing dishes. Is it really the dishes that I don't like, or is my mind? Spoiler alert, it's always your mind. So anyway, and then there's meditation, and there's a daily interview with a teacher. It's usually one-on-one and private, so you can ask all your questions about your meditation because everybody is going to be in different states and different progress. In this way, the teacher will give you very personalized guidance on what meditation you should do, what problems you have, and how to conquer it. It's extremely helpful. And then, of course, you rotate between meditating, walking, meditation, and also you can take a shower, do laundry, whatever. It's just pretty much all free time for you. In the afternoon, there's usually a tea time. For the center, Dhamma Sukha, I go. They serve you tea and chocolate, and then it's the Dhamma talk, where there will be a talk given and followed by some Q&A. That's the time you could also ask your questions, like the time you can finally talk if you want to. But in my first meditation retreat, I was asked by my teacher, Bhante Vilma Ramsey, at that time, to not ask any questions. So at first, I was very bothered by this. I'm like, I'm a scientist. I have so many questions I want to ask. So he told me to just 6R, which I'll give a link about what 6R is, but basically letting go of all my questions. And I decided, okay, fine, I'm just gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna ask you in the last day after we break the silence then. And I wrote down my question in the beginning, but I highly recommend people to try and let me know how it goes because it's so amazing. Maybe 2 or 3 days, even 4 days in, I forgot. But by forcing myself to let go of all my questions, my meditation went so much deeper. And I didn't ask during the Dhamma talks either. But you remember I wrote down the questions. And then when I look at the questions, pretty much I know all the answers of all my questions. So in the end, I did not need to ask at all. So in the end, I was just so much gratitude. I was crying, everything. So it's just no questions at all. It truly proves that you are your own teacher and you are your best teacher. You know yourself the best and you can answer all your questions. You just need to go deeper to get the answers out. You already have it. You really know. So anyway, that's just a side note. We were talking about the Dhamma talk and then you can ask a question. And after the Dhamma talk, it's the evening meditation time. You can meditate and you can go to bed, do whatever you want. It's free time again. So this is pretty much how every day is structured, and you can make up your own schedule within the day that works for you because you're given so much free time. Oh, I should also mention silent also means no even texting and whatever. That's why in the beginning, you will hand over your phone. And there's no electronic devices throughout the meditation, which was actually my first motivation to go to the center. I'm giving them my phone, and I also gave them my laptop and my tablet. I was just so happy that someone can take my work away and my electronic devices away. I really needed that excuse. Now I call it #modern luxury because it truly is to be able to unplug for 10 days without any digital devices. So that's a little benefit and add on for you if you really crave for something like that. If you want that, you would really enjoy the meditation retreat because it's so much more relaxing than when you're on vacation. But if you still have your phone, you may constantly think about replying or whatever, right? I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'm just gonna tell you upfront what I think are the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then I will share my experience with you because I've been doing meditation retreats every year for the past 5 years. And it's truly amazing. Every time it's different. And that really shows the impermanent nature of phenomena. But we'll leave it for the next time. Right now, it's just a summary about what I think. Let's start with the good because we like it. So you probably can find lots of people's experience online because it's truly life-changing for so many people. And really the only way for you to know is to experience it yourself so you will know how profound it is. And for me, it has totally changed my life trajectory, and probably it is the best thing that ever happened to me by far. So I highly recommend everybody to try it. And for the practical aspects of meditation retreats, the one I went to, I've only been to one, Dhamma Sukha in US, in Missouri, near St. Louis. And I've only been to that one just because it worked so well. So I go there every year, why not? But before I went, I asked a friend who's been to many, and he recommended this one for me because of so many practical benefits, such as the food, you can sit in a chair. I wrote a very detailed review, and you can maybe pause and check it out here for the practical aspects of meditation retreat center. But here I just want to talk about it in general. The good is really too much to say. It's kind of like, you know, the movie Matrix, once you experience another reality, let's say, you just can never go back to before. It's really irreversible. I really highly encourage you to try it out. Just like anything, if you're not sure, just try it out, right? And I want to also talk about the bad because people can get very defensive, especially when you hear it works so well, wow, life-changing, blah, blah, blah. But you go there and you can get very defensive about the methods, or you are just so uncomfortable to sit with yourself because the meditation retreats usually are silent retreat, which is the first experience for everybody where for extended period of time, say 10 days is a typical retreat time, and you cannot talk to anyone. It's completely silent. Usually you would, especially in the beginning, you would feel very uncomfortable to just be alone with your thoughts, and you might not like your thoughts. So that's why people can get very uncomfortable. And when you go deeper, many maybe past trauma and things can emerge when you go deeper into yourself. So it could be a temporary uncomfortable situation for people, and some people just don't want to go deeper. They prefer not dealing with it, right? And if your life is fine, maybe you don't need to do it. So it's usually motivated by the suffering in life, and you want to go to eliminate the suffering. But if you don't have suffering, there's no need for you to do that, because then you may trade one suffering with another type of suffering by beating yourself up to not progressing in a retreat or whatever, right? Then it's not worth it. So that is the bad part, and people may even leave early just because of this nature, I would just say it's the ego doing, because at the end of the day, you really have to come to terms with yourself by acknowledging you're the one who caused yourself the suffering, not anyone else. This is, oh my God, I have to clarify that this is really not a blaming feeling on yourself, but rather it's the opposite. It feels so empowering when you can come to terms with the simple fact that it's you and it's all mental. It's really not a big deal. All the suffering is all mental and it's you who caused it. It really gives you control to let it go, because yeah, I have the power because I caused the suffering. Of course, I can eliminate it by letting it go. Bye-bye. It's very hard to describe. You have to try it for yourself to know what it is about. And it's just so interesting because it sounds so contradicting, like, you gain control by letting go of control, but it's true. Just try it for yourself. I would recommend you have to be okay with acknowledging that you want to change yourself, not external conditions or any other people, because after a retreat, all your problems are still gonna be there. They're not just magically gonna disappear. It disappear, quote unquote, in a way that it does not bother you anymore. So that's a difference. But don't beat yourself up if you go to a retreat, you expect other things to change, not yourself. Then it can defeat the purpose, because you may have even more suffering because you expect things to be smooth, but then after retreat, you're like, oh, I just did a retreat. How come I'm still bothered, right? Then that's defeating the purpose. So the ugly is it could, don't hate me for saying that, but I feel it could also become an addiction. So there are people who may go to retreats over and over again, including myself, right? I certainly had the phase where I just feel I'm like a Dharma defender. I have to be fully enlightened or whatever it is, like striving for the goal, work hard on it, right? But eventually you have to let that go, which, by the way, I want to clarify that please just don't judge people or whatever. It's not a big deal if you see someone going there over and over again, because that's only the surface action you see. It's really the intention behind it. That's what matters, because it could be an obsession that you go every year, every time. It could also be just a peace of mind, and because you've got nothing better to do, and that's how you want to spend your time, just like how we want to go on a vacation every year. So action itself means nothing. So just do not be judgmental about anything for retreats, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So that's what I think the ugly could be, and sometimes it's very difficult to let that go. But in my opinion, it's a very small suffering that you can totally deal with. It's not the end of the world. So in the past 5 years, I went every year, right? And it's so funny that every time it's different. My intention why I go is different, and what I learned is different. And sometimes my problems and challenges I need to work with are exactly the opposite, which is so interesting to me. But we'll leave that for another time if people are interested in the specifics of each retreat and what are some potential phases you might go through. But here I just want to share how I got started, because most people are beginners who's never done a retreat before. So that's why I wanted to give you some hope and share what to expect. So the reason I went to a retreat is simply because I was so burnt out. And I think it was 2019, I was in London doing an internship with University of College London. And then both my Airbnb host and my random head massage guy told me about these life-changing meditation retreats they did. I think at that time it was bigger in Europe than in the US. So that's the first time I heard about it. I'm like, wow, such a modern luxury. I could never imagine I can do that. Because my motivation was, I just want people to take away my laptop and no emails, and I just want to go there without electronic devices. That's why I was highly motivated to do that as a reward for myself after my graduation. Because during my PhD, I never felt I have a valid excuse to unplug from my work to do that, because the unspoken expectation is kind of you have to always work even on weekends and reply to emails. I was too afraid to ask for permission of going for a retreat for 10 days. I didn't think that was what I was allowed to do, right? So I always thought, okay, after I graduate, this must be the reward I give myself. And it turned out to be the best gift I could ever give myself. So even thinking about it, I was so happy. So yeah, that was why I went for the first time. Of course, it changes after the first time. And the first time it was actually only online. And it's amazing because it was a metta retreat. Metta means loving kindness. So I was just like so loving and kind to everybody. And the funny thing is, because it's during pandemic, it was online, and I was still interacting with people. I went out to get a coffee and stuff, right? And the funny thing is, when you're still interacting with the world while on a retreat, you see so many practical changes in you and in everything around you. And imagine that's also my first retreat, so it was mind-blowing to me. I'll give you 2 examples. So I saw a homeless person sitting in front of Starbucks, and I saw he already had a coffee in his hand. And me being in this loving kindness bubble, I have huge empathy and I feel how he feels. I'm like, oh, he already has coffee. Why don't I get him something to eat? Then I decided to ask. So I asked, what does he want to eat? He hesitated. He said, maybe a cookie. It was in December, almost Christmas time. So I went to got him 2 cookies, and one is cute, decorated, the Christmas theme. And then I also got him a kind bar because I felt fitting, the nuts bar. So I gave it to him and I asked if he's allergic to nuts. And he was just speechless. And after a long pause, he just said, here, take all my money. He wants to give me all his cash. Maybe there's only $5 at most or something. But he just was so speechless and doesn't know what to do. And it really touched me. And when I thought about it, it really makes me want to cry. So I think it's because never in his life has anyone asked him about, are you allergic to nuts? I was genuinely just concerned about him, are you, right? Because this is a nuts bar. And then it was just so amazing, this experience. And then even after I walked away for maybe 10 feet or something, he suddenly remembered. He said, hey, what's your name? And I told him, and he said, you are beautiful. It's just the most amazing thing. And there's just so many examples during the retreat period when I was interacting with people. Then I'm like, wow, I did not know life can be like that. So I decided I have to go to this center in person after pandemic is over, and I did. The second example is I remember my boyfriend was calling to get boiling crab takeout, and he was put on hold for 10 minutes already. Then I was like, this is taking so long, and let me call. Because at that time, I was like, I'm so loving and kind and so powerful, I can do anything. Then I just picked up my phone, I called the exact same number, and I got somebody, and she just helped me right away, placed my order, and everything was done. And after I hang up, my boyfriend was still waiting on the line. So it's just so interesting, all these examples. That's why I'm like, yes, this is how I want my life to be. So it just shows you what's possible, and it's just too good to be true and too good to pass, to be honest. That's why I started this whole journey and never look back. So I would say in the first phase of my whole retreat journey, my motivation and intention behind it is simply to experience a life that's just in a loving kindness bubble, and everything is so nice and everybody is so nice to me. That's just my motivation, and I joke about it that this is kind of like a happiness booster. Every year I go get a booster, so it protects me to feel chill and happy and loving and kind for the rest of the year, but it wears off. so I have to come back and then get another booster every year. But we're just getting started. This is really only the beginning, and then it all changes into different phases, and different people may have different phases they go through, but I want to share my story with you. So I'll share that with you next time. Thank you for watching my video. I'm so happy that you are here. If you have any questions about retreats, or you want to know some specific anecdotes about retreats, just leave a comment and let me know. I will reply to you by a video. Alright, have fun. May peace be with you. We love you. And see you next time.